Good evening, everybody. How are you all? Wolves Pack, give me a howl as you come in. Come on in today. Come on in. Make sure we've gotten everybody come on in. We've got a live call tonight. It's the first one to the start of week 2. Who is excited? Say hello and say where you're from as you come into the pack tonight. I can see people starting to come in. Good stuff. Good stuff. I should just make sure that is running live there. Can you? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. As they're coming in. All right. We'll give this about 60 seconds before we kick off tonight. We couldn't do 4 for 4. No. Awesome. Hello, Leah. How are you? Say hello as you're coming in. Stephen. G'day, my brother. Miss Carly Weber's in the house. Hello, Carly. All right, guys. We've got 30 seconds. We've got Carol from Perth. Julie from the Sunshine Coast. The Mad Hatters crew. Miss Jenny's in the house. Hi, how are you? Awesome. So let's give it another 30 seconds. Everybody jump on, jump on. Let's get this excited. I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. There was a long weekend up out here in Queensland, I was told. No long weekend for the wicked, as they say. Miss Adele, how are you? Jeanette, how are ya? Awesome, let's kick this off. Wolf's back! How are you all? I hope everybody is amazing. I hope you've had an amazing weekend. Welcome back to week 2. It's a brand new week. Congratulations on making it this far. How are you feeling? Write and tell me how you're feeling so far with what we've done. 7 days of value so far. We are 1 week through the month, and we are sneaking up on the next full moon very quickly. If you're ever in doubt, make sure you go outside, look at the moon, and you can see exactly how far you have progressed through what we're doing. What are the breakthroughs that you've had so far? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I want to know, how did you guys enjoy the priming on Saturday and the soul sync on Sunday? If you missed it, it's recorded. Just visit the notifications at the top of the page. Check that out. They're 2 of the things that I use to start my day, my priming, and I highly suggest that from now on, g'day CJ, from now on I want you guys to absolutely implement this stuff into your life. Doesn't matter if you want to change the songs, it doesn't matter if you want to shift it around. Some people said to me, they'd rather put 2 feet on the ground to feel balanced. It's entirely up to you. Don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what? It's all small stuff. So don't sweat it. Just enjoy yourselves and make sure that you're filling yourselves with gratitude, and make sure that you're syncing your soul in a way that is absolutely productive for you. So let's recall what we did at the end of last week. Remember, we learned how to shift our neuro associations to make them more empowered. And how we did that was by scrambling our old sabotaging beliefs and anchoring in some new beliefs with what we call a state change technique. Does everyone remember that? How many of you practice getting into a passionate state? It's pretty powerful stuff, right? It is absolutely one of the biggest keys that I added to my life. As you also may remember, there are only 2 ways that you can experience your life which directly impact the way how you feel. Your physical experience, your state, and the second one is what you pay attention to, what you actually focus on. That's what we're going to discuss today. The way you feel and what you experience in your body comes from what you focus your attention upon during any given moment. Take this for example. Have you ever had a headache, and then as you're walking around with a headache, you all of a sudden just kick your toe on it, like a table leg or something, like your little toe, and suddenly your entire focus goes onto your foot and not on your head, and you don't have a headache anymore? Has anyone ever experienced something like that? Believe it or not, we can actually control what we're focusing on and how we are focusing on it. Imagine you're at let's say a nightclub, and there's lots of things happening. There's music, the drinking, the drama, there's lovers, some people look bored, and other people look super excited. Well, what determines your enjoyment is what you actually focus on. Is it the drama? Is it the lovers? Is it the boring people complaining? Or is it the fun people? See, our brains cannot focus on everything, so we choose what we focus on. We're highly skilled deletion creatures. Deleting is an important part how your mind maintains the balance in an emotional state. For you to feel good, you have to delete the things that you could feel bad about. However, vice versa. See, to feel bad, you have to delete or not focus on everything that's actually great in your life. And if you're not aware of this program, it can wreak havoc on your day-to-day experience. Let's go back to the nightclub scene, right? Because there's so much happening around you at any one moment in time. Think about it. You have the pulse of blood in your veins, the cool breeze from the air conditioner, the noise of the person yelling behind the bar, the lovers in the corner. You would have to filter in and out what you choose to focus on. So most of the time we are actually hallucinating and believing that the experience that we're having of the world is real. Imagine yourself as a camera. Your focus, what you see and sense, therefore perceive, may sometimes also make things look close up, appear bigger, brighter, even closer. See, the quality of the picture and the intensity and the distance from you are all extremely important to controlling your feelings about it. Does that make sense? So how many of you have experienced this before? I'll give you a couple more examples. Ladies out there, who has been pregnant, right? I have not been pregnant, I can tell you that from experience. Do you remember the time when you were pregnant? It seemed like just about every other woman out there was also pregnant. Why? Because your focus was on your own pregnancy at the time. What about if you bought a brand new car and then all of a sudden every person and their dog seemed to own one just like you? The reason is your focus. What are you paying attention to? See, there was not a sudden surge numbers of pregnant women or cars just like yours. You just noticed it more often because that's where your focus was. So you can see why this is super, super important, that we choose to focus on what is important for us to have a quality life. Does that make sense? So in other words, the quality of your life is based on the quality of your emotional states that you live in day to day. And how you feel and how you treat yourself and others is determined by how you use your body, your state, and two, what and how you actually focus on. Makes sense? Nick Vujicic, that we spoke about the other day, the gentleman that has tetraamelia syndrome, it's a rare disorder, saw him born with no arms and no legs. He's a prime example and an inspiration of a man who focuses on what he does have, what he is grateful for, and what he actually appreciates. Then the other examples that we gave about Elvis and Heath Ledger, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Robin Williams had all they could want in life. Well, to most people's standards anyway. Yet they turned to food, drugs, alcohol to numb the pain. They focused on the wrong thing or possibly didn't appreciate what they had. Simply put, they hadn't learned not how to control their focus. Make sense? So success is creating a consistent pleasure in your life by causing you to grow. Ultimate failure is being able to find pain no matter how good your life is. That's the ultimate failure in life. Does that make sense? So we have the power to decide what we focus on. We each have habits where we focus, good and bad. But the thing is this, you must make a decision where to focus. Let's get ourselves off autopilot and start taking control now. This is an exercise I want you to do right this second. I want you to look around the space that you're in right this second. Look around and I want you to focus on everything that is brown. I want you to memorize everything that's brown, that's in the room, okay? 10 seconds. Memorize everything that's brown in the room. Excellent. Okay, now close your eyes. All right, you got them closed. I hope you got them closed. Close your eyes. Now, I want you to remember everything in the room that was red. Okay, what did you focus on? What did you delete from your own attention? Whatever you pay attention to, you feel in your body right away. Did some of you see any red? I mean, if you're focusing on the color brown, some of you may have even turned yellow to brown, right? Just so that, because you're high achievers and you go, yeah, well, that's sort of brown, so I'm just gonna add that as brown, right? But when I ask you to change your focus to red, do you notice how your brain only gives you the answer that you require from it? Does that make sense? So how do you control your focus? See, positive thinking is just not enough. Why? Because you have to actually think about something else. What determines what we focus on is our beliefs and how we evaluate things, meaning the questions that we ask ourselves. The two primary questions we ask in any situation are, what does this mean to me and what am I going to do with it? Let me tell you a story. Imagine your brain is like a supercomputer. The only way to get information out of it is to type in the right question, right? To ask it something. Your brain works in the same way. However, it will search your history, your database, even make up an answer to respond to a disempowering question. Make sense? So if you ask something like, why does this always happen to me? As opposed to something like, how come I am so lucky? Will you get a different response? You bet your life you will. Our habitual emotions are a direct reflection of the habitual questions that we ask ourselves. Learn to ask yourself better quality questions. Better quality questions create a better quality life. So instead of asking, why am I so fat? You could ask something like, how can I become healthier right now? Or, what can I do today to start myself on the road to becoming healthier? Or, what do I need to do consistently to create long-term results so I can get the health and energy that I actually want? Or, how can I exercise more and actually enjoy the process? Can you see the difference in those questions? Can you see the difference in the quality of them? The quality of your life comes down to the quality of your questions we ask ourselves on a day-to-day basis. And be careful not to ask why questions. See, why questions are like endless loop questions. For example, why does this always happen to me? See, your brain will go into a continual loop and start to find the answer. Think of a 4-year-old when they ask the why question. You answer, and then they ask another why question. And then you answer, and they ask another why question. See, it just continues. It's like a loop. Does that make sense? So try and stay away from those questions. Instead, ask more empowering, quality questions like, what can I learn from this? What can I get out of this that will enhance my life even more right now? How can I use this situation to create much more power? What can I do to respect this person? What is it that makes me laugh about this situation? Be sincere. It's about finding the answer to your empowering questions. Okay, quality questions will, 1, instantly change your focus and therefore change the way you feel. Number 2, it will also change what we are deleting. For example, if you're in a bad mood, then all you're deleting is what you appreciate and what you're actually grateful for. 3, they will help you assess the resources that you actually have inside you. They're always readily available. That will help you get what you need. Make sense? So let me give you an example. This question, how can I make this happen right now more powerfully than ever before and have fun doing it? Your brain, as soon as you ask that, your brain goes into finding the answers straight away. An example of a disempowering question would be something like, can I really do this? See, your brain goes into a doubtful state and a doubtful answer. Does that make sense? So powerful leaders always ask really super powerful questions. Martin Luther King asked about a dream. John F. Kennedy asked, do not ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. See, success in all areas of your life is your ability to break through tough situations and take empowered action towards where you want to go and what you want to do. And you can only do that by managing your state and asking quality questions on a consistent basis. So how powerful is focus? Let me tell you, in the NBA in America, there's a team called the 76ers. It's a basketball team, right? They were about to break the streak for the worst start ever to a season by any basketball team in history. They went on this streak. They just couldn't win a game. Were they bad players? No, they just fell into a pattern and they started to focus on losing. What actually happened was quite amazing. They actually went into a practice session, and for the first time ever, Tony Robbins went into this practice session and actually spent a couple of hours with these guys. And all he asked them to do was this. He asked them to do the same amount of training, right? So they would go up and do free throws from the free throw line, and they would do 100 at a time, right? The problem is because they were free throwing and some of the balls were missing the hoop, they started to focus on the failure rather than on the result. So what he asked them to do was, I want you to go to the free throw line without a ball. And I want you to do it in your mind's eye. I want you to shut your eyes and I want you to imagine the ball going swish every single time. And he got them to do 100 at a time, 100 throws without a ball. Does that make sense? They went out on the very next game and they won it by about 68 points. This is super powerful. It is exactly what you focus on. If you focus on the right thing and delete the negative energy, the negative focus, then all of a sudden everything can shift. See, it's all about focus, and it's all about the power of the right images in your mind. Now, I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time, okay? At any given moment, you have the right to feel lousy, frustrated, sorry, hurt, angry, whatever. All of these emotions have their place in their proper proportion. It's all about balance. Does that make sense? So in fact, pain can drive you to a resolution when you ask an empowering question around it. Here's an example of an empowering question, right? So let's go through some of these questions. I'm just going to rattle off some questions. I want you to listen to them, but listen to the way they're framed. Does that make sense? These are all empowering questions. So, what can I learn from this right now? How can I grow from this? How can I expand from this? What can I learn from this that I will never have to experience all again? How can I take advantage of this? How can I benefit from this? What can I do today to make even more money or have more fun? What am I most happy about in my life right now? What could I be happy about in my life right now? What about this makes me happy? See that? Let's do some more. What am I excited about in my life right now? What about that makes me feel excited? What am I really grateful for in my life right now? What else can I be really proud of in my life right now? What about this makes me feel proud? Who do I love in my life right now? Who loves me? That's a good one. All right, Wolves. Your exercise for tonight, right? Think of 5 empowering questions you will ask yourself every morning for the rest of this program. Questions that cause you to go into a positive and more powerful state. I want you to write them down and I want you to put them somewhere you're going to see every single day, either beside your bed. Another really good one is on your bathroom mirror, right? Just write them. Get some lipstick and write them on the bathroom mirror. You don't need a friggin' mirror that's 6 foot wide, right? Write them on the mirror. What about getting them and sticking them on your rear vision mirror in your car? Don't cover it completely. If you crash, I might be a panel beater, but well, I was. I'm not anymore, right? And every morning I want you to ask these questions to yourself, these 5 questions, and I want you to do this. I want you to come up with at least 2 different answers for each of them. I want you to record your responses in your journal for the rest of the program. See, affirmations are great, but questions, they're more powerful. And then when you start to stack these answers, you will be amazed at the results in your life just from doing this simple exercise every day. So to recap, what did we learn today on day 8? There are 2 things that can control with respect to focus. When you change either of these, you immediately change how you feel. Number 1 is, what are you picturing or focusing on in your mind? And number 2 is, how are you focusing on it? That is the size, the brightness, and even the meaning of it. Next, how you evaluate things determines what you focus on. 1, evaluations are nothing but questions you ask yourself. And 2, your state and ultimately your entire life is the result of the questions that you ask. To manage your states via focus, you must control the questions you ask yourself. Eliminate limiting endless loop questions. Eliminate continually asking yourself questions that aren't empowering you, and start asking yourself more powerful and empowering questions, right? So that's it for tonight, right? I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m., right? Tomorrow is day 9. It is one of the most important learnings that you'll ever get. So make sure you have loads of paper and your journal and lots of pens, because you're going to need them, right? This week, we're going to start to get intense. Last week, we built from something small. The first day, we just asked you to think of 2 things, right? Then the next day it was 4. Now we're starting to get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. It's starting to really move. This week, I mean, when I say super powerful, some of the exercises we're going to do this week, you will remember for the rest of your life. So I want you to really stay focused. I want you to stay connected to the group. I want you to tell us in the comments what you're learning from this and how you're actually empowering yourself, what you're doing on a consistent basis. You may just think it's trivial, but other people are feeding off that energy. And trust me, if we can just change one more life, wouldn't it all be worth it? You bet your life. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about the value of your values. We're going to be starting to get into some really serious stuff. I can't wait to see you there. Guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Wolfpack, give me a howl. Oh, you bet your life. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m.